Ladies and gentlemen, Kocosports.com is proud to present Wrestle AM. That's right, it's half morning show, half wrestling show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got the Coco crew here holding it down live. First, you got me, the sexiest man on all Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, boom, boom, here shaking the room, live from beautiful Omaha, Nebraska. And of course, joining me as always, my brother from another mother, the owner and CEO of BackdoorAsians.com, Dave Kokotis. And of course, we got a special guest. We got live from sunny South Florida. We got Rob joining us here. Guys, welcome to Wrestle AM. We got Battleground coming up, and it's time to do our favorite game around here on Kocosports.com, and that is pay-per-view profits. And that basically means, kids, for those of you who are new to this game, and judging by our subscriptions, there are quite a few. Basically, it's a little pick'em contest. We're going to run down the card here of Battleground, and you're going to tell us who you think's going to win. And once the pay-per-view's over, the person with the most correct picks is the winner, and therefore the pay-per-view profit. So, guys, let's get down and dirty with it here. We got Battleground. Actually, this pay-per-view has been moved up because this was held, I believe, in October of last year, and actually was one of the worst pay-per-views WWE put on last year. It was in that period where Daniel Bryan was getting squashed every fucking night. John Cena was out with surgery, so I'm surprised they even wanted to resurrect the name of the pay-per-view. I figured it'd go the way of In Your House or Bad Blood, but it's back, and to be honest, guys, I am not excited about this pay-per-view because in my heart of hearts, I feel that this is just filler pay-per-view. This will just be setting the stage for SummerSlam, but with the WWE Network and $10 a month, little hard to bitch about it, but I won't let that stop me. But guys, initially, what are your thoughts? Dave, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on this pay-per-view going into it?
I think it's the perfect storm for just a shitty pay-per-view. Battleground, like you said, doesn't have a good reputation. Tampa is a pro wrestling city, but they always have the shittiest events. Not very good events come to Tampa. Like, if you see a Raw going into Tampa, just know that Raw's going to suck. And pay-per-views usually suck. So it's the perfect storm. And not only that, but Amazon, the main event, already would, you know what I mean? Like, it just on paper, it looks absolutely horrible. It just looks like garbage. And the thing is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just going to speak a bit on my behalf and think that the rest of the world thinks like me. We're just getting tired of bad wrestling. They almost one awesome event, and I don't think this is going to be the awesome event to get us back on track. Rob, your opening thoughts?
Well, this is awkward because I'm actually pretty excited for the pay-per-view. I'm making my roommate to watch it with me tomorrow. Excited. I'm excited. Like, there are definite cons, and I think the SummerSlam video, the SummerSlam poster getting out is really bad. But that said, they've done a decent job building up some of the undercard matches that I'm actually... Alright, I won't lie. The Naomi Cameron match, I'm probably only excited for because I binge-watched all of Total Divas. But I am actually like... I look at that match and I'm like, I kind of want to see that match. That match is going to be sweet. I kind of want to see what happens. And I'm excited for the Ambrose Rollins match. I don't see how you can't be excited for that match alone. Doesn't get you pumped for the pay-per-view. You know that match is going to be great. Like, even if nothing else good happens in the night, you know that one match is going to be awesome. And
oh, go ahead.
Maybe Reigns will actually win it since, you know, Cena's only scheduled for half the Raws between now and SummerSlam.
Well, I hope Roman Reigns is your pick, because I'd like to win pay-per-view profits a second time. Boom!
Yeah, I'm sure you would off John Cena.
We have found our positive person in the group. I'm so negative that...
How negative are you?
The spoilers of the poster, Amazon poster, and all going around that, hey, the main event's going to be Brock. I'm actually kind of relieved. Because I'm thinking if we had a chance of John Cena losing, I would be fucking so angry when he finally won. But now that we know Battleground, there's no chance he's losing, unless, of course, they shock us, which happens very often, but I'm rooting for it. I'm prepared. It's like knowing when you're going to die. going into this pay-per-view. You know John Cena's 99% most likely going to win the title. And you're like, you know what? I prepared myself. I told my family. I tied up my loose ends. I'm ready for this. I'm ready.
You're ready for it. All right. Awesome. Well, guys, enough dilly-dallying around here. Let's get right down into it, down and dirty with it. The kickoff match, and I'm actually thinking this is the perfect place for this match because otherwise I might be a little upset. But I think this is the perfect place, and you got the former Funkadactyls squaring off against each other. You have Cameron taking on her former tag team partner Naomi. The kickoff match, they've done a pretty decent build-up where Cameron has played a bit of the prima donna, Naomi a little bit more of the hard worker. I could tell, from the get-go, as they were coming up and starting to develop out of the Funkadactyls, Naomi was the better worker of the two. Cameron, the prettier of the two. So I'm actually kind of surprised that they went this route where they made the pretty one somewhat the heel, and then the more athletic one the face. But that aside, looking at it, I was kind of like, well, I wasn't really thrilled about it, but you knew this had to come. They love splitting up tag teams. Since there's no Divas tag teams that tag team championship that they can win, with Brodus Clay gone, Tenzai, Prince Albert, A-Train, whatever you want to call them, is now doing commentary and working backstage with WWE. You knew that this was long overdue, that they had to split up the Funkadactyls. I'm surprised it took them this long to do this, but looking at it on paper, I don't think it's a big anticipated match. Knowing how Cameron works, I don't expect this to be a long match. In fact, this could be a tiebreaker question, which I will bring up later, and this is important, kids. Pay attention to the tiebreakers. That's all I'm going to say. Looking at this, and I'll go ahead and lay it out here with my pick, is looking at the two, despite everything going on, I'm going to go with take a shot in the dark here, and I'm going to go with Cameron to win this match. Now, hear me out. The reason I picked this is because if Naomi gets the win, then what's there left, for Cameron to do? I mean, she'll just start floundering in the Divas division. And I think that'll just bust up the whole point because you want these two, at least in theory, you would like it if you're going to split up a tag team. You want both those people to be successful in what they do to make it worth the split up. And if Cameron loses, it goes nowhere. And I think they could drag this out because, to be honest, Cameron, I think, and Naomi work well together. And I think Cameron, for her to be ready, is going to have to work with someone she's comfortable with. Who better than Naomi? These two have been traveling together. They know each other. They're comfortable with each other. And I think we can have a little mini feud breakouts. And in order for that to continue, Cameron, the bad guy or bad girl, wow, has to get the win. So I'm going with Cameron. Rob, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on this and who you got in this?
I'm definitely going with Naomi because I look at the Divas division and I want it to get better. Naomi's actually a good worker. I like her wrestling. I think she's an entertaining wrestler. And she's a pretty attractive woman. So all around good for Divas division no matter what angle you look at it from. And I feel like the Divas division kind of hurts for a good face right now. And she's a natural face, whereas Paige and AJ Lee are better as heels. And if you have her win this and then go on and keep winning, you could build her up to maybe be a contender as a face. So that's my vote.
Okay, that's your vote. Now, Dave, I know you're not a total Divas fan, but that aside, what are your thoughts on this Intercontinental title? Or not Intercontinental title, excuse me, Divas pre-show match?
I feel like a tiebreaker. My two kids picked one. Who do I go with? Do I go with my sexy daughter, Rob, or my chubby son, Boom Boom? Oh, this is tough. I agree with everything Boom Boom said, and WWE Creative is really trying with the Divas, and they're trying to promote it. But at the end of the day, I just don't think she can hang. So I'm going to go with Naomi. I think she's going to win. And I think you have to give it to the better wrestler, because if WWE Creative is trying to make, and they are trying, you have to give them credit. They're trying to rebuild the women's division. You have to rebuild it with women that can wrestle. Because they are trying so hard to rebuild this women's division, and the fans in general don't give a shit. So I think Naomi has to win, just because I could see the fans, if they're going to try, I could see the fans getting behind her way more than anyone else, way more than the other one. So I'm going Naomi.
Gonna go Naomi? Okay, that's not disagreeing here. But next here we've got the 20-man over-the-top Battle Royal for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this match was brought about because Wade Barrett suffered a separated shoulder at the hands of Jack Swagger over on a SmackDown taping. He was going to be unable to compete, so they had to strip him of the title. And then, in order to make up for that, instead of calling out like a tournament, or they decided to get the belt back on somebody quick by inviting 20 men. Now, it should be noted that Damian Sandow and Adam Rose were removed from this match. I do not specifically see a reason why, but I think it was just to have a more even number. But some of the competitors include Diego, that's one half of Los Matadores, Sin Cara, Titus O'Neil, Zack Ryder. You have the one-man band himself. You had, Heath Slater, The Miz, R-Truth, Xavier Woods, Rob Van Dam, Alberto Del Rio, Fandango, Rybaxel, Big E, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, Bo Dallas, Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, and last but certainly the least, the Great Khali. See what I did there?
I did.
All right. You know what, Dave? Go ahead and start us out off on this one. What do you First of all, what do you think about them declaring it an over-the-top battle royal instead of a tournament, and then selecting so many guys, removing two? What do you think about that? And then who do you think is going to come out on top?
I am a huge fan of tournaments. I love it, but I think the only reason they didn't do a tournament is because that's how they decided the U.S. title a couple months ago. So I think that they're like, we can't do the same exact thing. But the over-the-top battle royal, it's just very few are entertaining. A lot of them are very boring, and a lot of times on independents, they just have a battle royal to get ticket sellers in. So to me, here are some of my favorites, and then I'll make my pick. Were you about to say something, Boom?
I was going to say, do you think this is lazy booking?
Yes, but in their defense, sometimes lazy booking has to get you out of an injury. So it is lazy booking, but at the same time, I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass because it was an injury. Ziggler, the Kocosports Internet champ, Cesaro, Bo Dallas would be huge, this week's MVP. Kofi would be nice, and I'm thinking the rest really don't even have a chance. Maybe Big E Langston, maybe The Miz, because he's doing the television thing, but everyone else is just kind of filler or a shock, and maybe not even being that satisfied. I'm glad Zack Ryder's there. But I think my fave four, Ziggler, Cesaro, Bo Dallas, and Sheamus. I would be happy for all four of them. Bo Dallas by far would be the most entertaining. By far the most entertaining. But my number one pick is they've been teasing it a lot, and he's improved a lot. I was a super fan, hater, turning to, now I remember why I loved you. He's improved a lot, and storyline-wise. So for the contest and for me to try to regain my crown, I'm going to say Sheamus.
Okay. Sheamus. Okay, Rob, you're up to bat here. You got 20 men, and Dave's already picked one. Who do you think's going to rise to the top and be the Creme de la Creme?
I do want to say off the bat, I think it's disheartening that Adam Rose and Damian Sandow got knocked off, especially if guys like Diego and Zack Ryder, who we know they don't give a shit about, stayed in. I think that's a really bad sign for their futures, especially with talk that Adam Rose is only going to be doing dark shows in NXT from now on. But I think my guy, I want to go with my heart, and I think I want to go with Bo Dallas, because what would be more beautiful than Bo Dallas winning that and then giving a pep talk to everyone who got eliminated about you may have went over the ropes today, but tomorrow you could come back through them and be a champion. Who doesn't want to see that Bo Dallas moment? Who doesn't want that? I'm going with Bo Dallas. I got a Bo leave.
Bo Dallas, you think he's going to... You know what'll be the funny thing? If he actually wins that, imagine somebody saying, this time last year, or, 6 months ago, imagine somebody saying, hey, you know what? 6 months from now, I think Bo Dallas will win a title before his brother. And people would have said, are you out of your fucking mind? Well, it's looking like it could happen here, but that's not who I think is going to win. There is one person that I think I've kind of singled out here. I think the swerve they're going to use is they're going to be Kofi Kingston and Cesaro. They've been kind of teasing that back and forth, so I think that's going to be the swerve. They want those two to be the, people to have eyes on him. But there's one person, he's not exactly a dark horse, but it would make sense for him to win. He is somebody who's just come back. He's got something to promote, and what better way to get more attention on him by giving him a title? I'm going to go, and I'm not necessarily a huge fan of this guy, but it makes sense. The Miz. He just got done wrapping up the Marine. He's talking about his face as the moneymaker. I think they could really use something to enhance his feud against Sheamus, which could lead to a title consolidation match. Not that I'm for that, but I'm just saying you could set that up with the Miz. He's definitely somebody that if people theoretically WWE wants people who typically don't watch wrestling to maybe see this movie, get it on DVD. I don't know if it's direct to DVD or not, but see it and go, I wonder what this guy's all about. And then, what better way than to see him, come out with a championship title on him. So I'm going to go with Miz on this one.
It's a bold prediction, but I mean, I see where you're coming from. I hope you're not right, just because so far I hate The Miz. But it makes sense.
Like I said, I'm not a fan of him, but I want to win pay-per-view profits. Or better yet, scratch that. I want to beat Dave Kokotis in pay-per-view profits so I can continue to rub it in his little face. Because I'm awesome. See what I did there? All right, next here is part 712 in the saga of the Usos versus the Wyatt family. Every time it's come down to it, when the titles have been on the line, the Usos have always managed to pull it out in an exciting match. When the titles are not on the line, when it's on Raw, the Usos dominate. They get back and they keep getting back in the title hunt. Now, some people are saying, well, how can the Wyatt family be back in the hunt here after they lose? Well, in case you haven't watched, kids, out of the 3 times they've wrestled each other, the Wyatts have won 2. Now, granted, the Usos won the important one when the titles were on the line, but I should bear in mind, kids, this is going to be a best 2 out of 3 falls match. So, and I can guarantee you this goes all the way to 3 falls. That's my Stone Cold Lock of the Century of the week. Rob, let's start off with you. Do you think now WWE is going to pull the trigger and put the belts on the Wyatts, or are they going to do the safe route and keep it on the Usos?
I think they're going to do the safe route, and they're going to do the title swap at SummerSlam. I have zero doubts that no matter the outcome tomorrow night, this is going to be a rematch at SummerSlam. My personal dream scenario would be both teams get 1 each, and as they're going for the third, both teams are actually going for the third one in separate spots, and it ends up a question of who really won. And then they feud for a month, and then they settle it at SummerSlam. But I feel like the Usos are going to retain it.
You got the Usos going to retain it. They're going to take it out another month, and then they're going to do it at SummerSlam. Dave, do you agree with that assessment, or do you think now WWE is going to pull the trigger? Now, bear in mind, Dave, they've been doing the same match for the past 2 months now. These 2 teams have been feuding. They've gone back and forth. Do you think WWE pulls the trigger?
This is really tough to call. It's really tough to call, but I'm going to say they pull the trigger. I think the Wyatts do get the title, and I think the Usos take a little bit of a backseat at SummerSlam. And I think it's the Wyatts versus the Rhodes brothers at SummerSlam because...
You stole my prediction, sir. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, and then I think the Monday Night Raw after, and granted, this is just fun. A lot of times people are like, oh, what do you know inside stuff? But, we're just having fun here guessing. And I think the Ascension, is that what they're called? The NXT champs, will be on the Raw after SummerSlam. And then that will help rebuild the whole tag team division. But I think the Rhodes brothers, especially after what happened at Mania and what people were hoping for, and now that they're not going to fight each other at SummerSlam, I think them, and they might even win the titles, but I wouldn't bet on it. But I think it's time for the Wyatts to win the title. So I'm going Wyatts, but I don't know. This one's a really hard one to pick.
I see both your points, and now I get to play tiebreaker here. I'm going to lean more so towards Dave, because I think you need to have at least one title change, especially on this pay-per-view. You go into the next month, and I think, if your headliner is going to be, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, and you got to believe that maybe the titles changing hands there. I believe if the title changes hands at SummerSlam, like Rob is predicting, I think that kind of gets buried. And I think WWE, and I will say this, it's not perfect, but they're doing a better job in regards to promoting their tag team division, where it's just not two random schmucks slammed together. It's actual tag teams taking on actual tag teams for the tag team titles. I know, crazy concept. And I think if you don't want to get buried and you want it to have an impact, you have to have the title change at Battleground, and I think that's what WWE's going to do. I think they are eventually going to put the belts on the Wyatts, and I think that eventuality finally comes to fruition this Sunday. So I'm going to go Wyatt family.
Fuck, you guys were so convincing that I almost want to change. Because in my heart, I want them to win, just because I love Arbor.
Go with your heart, Rob.
But
go with your heart. Or diarrhea, either one, whatever that is.
The worst thing about going last or going first is that the other guys bring up such great points. Like, you got it written down, and then you're like, oh, that's a great point, Rob. That's a great point, Boom Boom. So going first sucks because you're going out to the Sharks, and then everyone pulls out other ideas. And going last sucks because you're scratching on a piece of paper going, wait, that is a great point.
I want to change mine to the Wyatts. Fuck.
Really?
So much.
It's now or never. Now or never, Rob. The spotlight.
I'm saying change it. I'm saying Wyatts. You guys sold me. You guys sold me. And you're right. They can't wait until SummerSlam, or it does get buried.
You know what? What's going to happen when we finally do the paper review tomorrow night? If it turns out the Usos retained, Rob's got full license to get on here and go, fuck you, Boom Boom. Fuck you.
You sons of bitches, I knew it.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll throw myself to the wolves' den here. Next match here, it's the Divas Championship match. You have the newly crowned and returning champion AJ Lee versus the former champion Paige, the only woman to unseat her, by the way. To me, kids, I really don't foresee AJ losing her first match back, first major title defense back on pay-per-view against Paige. I think the bigger story is going to be what's surrounding the match here, is what direction are they going to go with Paige. To make things interesting, and I'll throw this in the tiebreakers, and please remind me of this later on in the match here, is I think the big story with this is not going to be the actual match. It's going to be what happens afterwards. Because here's what I would do if I was booking this match. And feel free to call me some fucking, crystal meth smoking, tweaker, whatever, for coming up with this. But I would have, not like a 5-star match, but because I want to build up to something bigger here. But I want to have a decent match between AJ Lee and Paige. These are two women who can wrestle. I want to see them just kind of go at it, give us a sample of what they can do. And then I finally want to see AJ finally lock on the Black Widow submission out of nowhere. They're tying it up, and boom, she locks on the Black Widow. Paige, drops down to one knee. She's trying to get to the rope. She can't get to it. She's fading, and she has no choice but to tap out. AJ wins. Hey, there's a big pop in circumstance. Hey, AJ wins. Here's your winner and still Divas champion, AJ. Yay! And then, as their, referee's going to hand her back the title belt, Paige goes, no, 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 let me hand her the belt. She bested me. She was the better competitor. And, as she's going to hand AJ the belt, she just clocks her with it, then kicks her a few times, then locks AJ in her submission hold, and makes her scream and tap. And of course, you have to bring out referees to pry her off, and that sets up a submission match between AJ and Paige. That is what I want to see. But then again, I know I'm probably high right now, but I'm going to go with AJ to win, but I'm hoping this other shit follows because that would be fucking awesome.
I want what you just said, all of that to happen with one extra twist. I want AJ to come to the ring with her new valet, CM Punk, who then acts as special guest referee at this match. We'll have you back, Punk, one way or another. You may not wrestle, but I'm getting you.
Just let it go. Let it go.
Never going to let it go. But yeah, that's been my hope, too, with how that's going to end, is I really hope that she goes into this feud and she's doing this whole build up. She's just been, I'm honorable, like I'm okay with losing. She's a great wrestler. We're both great. I love her because she's great. That whole thing she's doing now. I really hope that they do end up with, after she loses, she's no longer like, all right, fuck this, fuck you, fuck this, fuck the Divas division. I'm fucking destroying you. That's gonna be my belt. And that would be the best possible outcome, is AJ Lee wins with a Paige heel turn.
All right, so we got you're going to go with AJ, sir?
Yeah, I'm going with AJ. There's no way they have AJ lose her first pay-per-view back, especially when her boyfriend just left. And if she keeps the title, maybe he'll come back.
All right, Dave, are you going to go with the hot, sexy, pale Brit, or are you going to go with the nerd lover's delight?
This is a really tough call. I'm going to go with, I'll give you my pick in a second, but I think this is the best booked match and the most interesting match of the whole pay-per-view.
Ooh, that's saying a lot with Rollins and Ambrose on the card, you son of a bitch.
But the whole thing is, with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, that might be a good match, but at the end of the day, nothing really changes. If Dean wins, the feud goes on. If Seth wins, the feud goes on. Like, I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't know. I'm more excited over this women's match than I am with the Shield match.
I think that's really good, though, for the WWE. If anyone can say I'm more excited for the Divas match than any other match.
Yeah, of the whole pay-per-view. And I hope that they could showcase how great of wrestlers they are, and I hope it moves the storyline in the direction I want. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to guess AJ Lee. I could see Paige winning it back, and then it's like, oh, every time we fight, I take your title. That is good for storyline, but bad for the title, because the title will start to be watered down if they pass it back and forth, I could see them doing that storyline, but I think AJ Lee wins, and then I want to see where they go with Paige. I hope they just don't forget about her, because right now I'm really intrigued about it, and WWE, that's something you don't have going on with a lot of your storylines / events. So I'm going to say AJ Lee, but not a strong AJ Lee. I could see Paige winning it back.
I think the only way Paige wins it is if Paige cheats really blatantly and gets away with it and wins, and that's the only way that she can win, and it doesn't hurt the overall picture.
That's true. That's another route to go. Because if she doesn't cheat, you can always have it where they win the belt back and forth, but like I said, that hurts the belt in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Booms.
All right. Next on the agenda here is, now this one is this match is going to be interesting, but for all the wrong reasons. And I'm dead serious on this one. No comedy on this one. You have the match of Jack Swagger versus Rusev. And by the way, can I just say fuck you to all the goddamn liberal assholes who keep calling this like a xenophobic match? Fuck you. Let's just have some fun with this. Anyway, that aside, you got the real all-American Jack Swagger versus, Rusev. He's Russia's #1 golden boy, homeboy, winner of the gold star, whatever. you got that going on. I think Swagger is going to be the toughest challenge Rusev faces, but here's the reason why I'm saying I'm interested to see how this is, but it's for all the wrong reasons. As we know, Rusev is very much pro-Russian. Lana is Russian. They keep talking about Vladimir Putin. They talk about the superiority of Mother Russia. Well, in light of recent world events, I'm interested to kind of see how do they kind of get around this. And I know there's like a ton of things we could say on this, but I'm trying to keep it on wrestling here. Let's not completely go off the rails into geopolitics and all this stuff. I'm just saying within the context of wrestling, I'm interested to see does WWE kind of tone it down, kind of back off, especially from the Vladimir Putin angle and the Russia, government angle. Do they kind of come back off of that a little bit in light of world events? Do they kind of put stuff on the back burner? I'm kind of interested to see how they're doing this. Now, Dave, you're huge into world news, world global politics. Dave, looking at this, I mean, what do you think? Do you think WWE kind of, tones this feud down a little bit, or do they just go, look, this is just wrestling. It has nothing to do with world events. This is just for fun. Let's just keep going full speed ahead.
Sorry about that. Yeah, they're going to tone it down. They have a history of toning it down. Well, let's look. Remember, the Tea Party got upset, and they did a video of saying, oh, we're just actors, and they toned down Jack Swagger. They toned down everything. I honestly think they're going to tone it down. I think Ziggler wins, and they forget about this storyline. The only thing I ask is that, I said this I believe, on the last podcast, but this is all I ask for. I ask for this, that Swagger's getting the best of him, and he goes in the corner, and Lana slaps him and says, do it for Russia. And he goes, I fight for me! And then they cool off the character. But if you look, they even changed Stephanie McMahon's story, they changed Swagger, they even watered down this original storyline. So it's not like, they not only do they have a history of watering down storylines when it becomes topical or controversial, they've already watered down the storyline that they're about to water down even more. So I think, without a doubt, they are going to water this storyline down. I think he disappears for a while. I could be wrong. I mean, they might have balls, but this ain't the Attitude Era. I think Ziggler puts an end to it, and they just repackage him later on.
Don't you mean Swagger?
Swagger, yeah, sorry.
He did that twice, too.
Well, you know what? Ziggler doesn't win enough. Let's give Ziggler a win all the time. Yeah, I think Swagger wins this. I would just love to see the Rocky reference in it. It's nobody can compare it to Rocky. But I honestly going back to NXT.
So Dave, you're going to go with Swagger?
Yeah, I'm going Swagger. Or Ziggler if he makes a run at it. Swagger it is.
All right, Rob, do you think this the current events are going to play on this storyline, or do you think they're going to stay the course, at least in regards to Rusev's push?
I think that they're going to end up giving in, but I'm going to go with my heart, which is that Swagger doesn't deserve to end the streak that you've built up in Rusev. Like, he doesn't deserve to be the one that kills that monster, and that monster should survive until SummerSlam. So I'm going with Rusev. I'm believing that they'll hold out. Please God. Unless Ziggler interferes.
Yeah. Me looking at it, I'm thinking, you know what? I think it would be dumb to kill Rusev's push for something that is totally not his fault and has absolutely nothing to do with. I think WWE does have a history of going full speed ahead, in spite of world events. I remember during the subway attacks in London on SmackDown, which was recorded, by the way, at the time, they went ahead with a controversial storyline where they sacrificed Daivari to The Undertaker. This is back when Muhammad Hassan was feuding with him. Hey, remember him? And he lost to The Undertaker, but that allowed some men in masks and military fatigues to beat up The Undertaker. And then they so to speak, martyred Daivari and carried him out. and they were scrolling at the bottom in one of really recent events. You know, some events may be, viewer discretion is advised for sensitive viewers, and they went full steam with that. Now, granted, this is WWE PG, and in the PG era, I still think you can have this match. You can still have this feud. You could just, I mean, you may have to water it down and go, yeah, USA sucks, Russia #1, woo, just keep it that simple. Not bring up Putin, not bring up pro-Russian separatists, not bring up the, Crimea, not bring up Ukraine, not bring up, airplanes, missiles, any of that. So I think they can still do it. And besides, he's still got to be fed to John Cena, and oh God, I just made myself sad. I'm going to stick with Rusev. I think Swagger will give him one hell of a match. I don't think Swagger's going to look bad by any means, but I think Rusev is going to walk out with a victory. Oh, didn't see that coming, did you, kids?
Suck on that, Dave.
I just think if you're going to bet on playing it safe, you got to go with WWE is going to puss out. Your Undertaker example ago was when Vince McMahon had grapefruits. Vince McMahon don't even have balls anymore.
He's got some Raisinets. Anyway, next match here. This was a match I think the WWE they threw this to the nerd crowd. WWE Creative goes, hey, who's two people that the nerds like? Oh, okay, let's do this. And they were right, because as soon as these two gentlemen were seen standing in the ring across from each other, they hadn't said anything, they hadn't moved towards each other, they haven't talked or touched each other, and the crowd started chanting, this is awesome. I'm talking about Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt, one-on-one for the first time. You know what, Rob, let's start off with you. What do you think about this match? Do you think Chris Jericho making a comeback here, Bray Wyatt trying to look to regain his footing after being pretty much getting screwed over in the feud against John Cena? Where do you think we wind up on this one?
I feel like he's going to go opposite of Cena, and he's actually going to give Bray wins at pay-per-views to put Bray over. Like, I feel like that's the only purpose he has in life right now, is to just go put people over when he wrestles. That seems like that's his shtick when he wrestles now.
All right, awesome. So we're going to go with Bray Wyatt. What about you, Dave? Do you think Y2J's got enough left in the tank to get over, the cult leader there, Bray Wyatt, or do you think it's just we need to follow the buzzards?
I'm going with Jericho wins this match, but not the feud.
Yeah.
I think Jericho needs a win because everyone sees him as the guy who's going to put everybody over. I mean, we love you, but you're never going to fucking win. We get it, Jericho. I think he has to win at Battlegrounds. Plus, there's good storylines. The Wyatts win the world title, and Bray, the leader, couldn't beat Jericho. And both these guys are huge superstars, and both these guys don't really have a feud going into SummerSlam. So I think Jericho wins, and then Wyatt gets his. Oh my God, they are repeating the John Cena storyline. I'm going with Jericho.
You're going to go with Jericho? I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt because that Cena feud took something out of him. It really did. Even when he won, he looked weak. Then he lost again when he didn't need to in a last man standing match. And if he lost again, I mean, my God, might as well just cut his fucking balls off at this point. I mean, he's going to be completely neutered. He's not going to be really look like a threat. It's hard. Okay, one time, and you can maybe come back, shake it off, come back. I think you can come back from that. But two major losses in a row, I don't think, And plus, he was okay in Money in the Bank. He didn't look bad, but he didn't look fantastic either. So he really needs something to kind of solidify himself as one of the biggest, baddest guys in WWE. And I think that's going to come at the expense of, the expense of Chris Jericho. So I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt to follow the Buzzards.
I just want to add one thing before we go to the next match. I want you to realize all those YouTubers that defended WWE and defended John Cena and said, oh, if he loses at WrestleMania, don't worry, he'll get his. I want you to pay the piper, eat the fucking crow, and man up. You can't say fucking WWE is great, and then when it fucking explodes in your face, you just say, oh, don't worry, it's great. Your words should have fucking meaning, scumbags. Go ahead.
Oh, I agree with you 110%. Now, next, this should be the main event here, but it's not, unfortunately. But this is my Stone Cold Lock of the Century of the Week. This match here will be, bar none, the best match on the pay-per-view. Write it down right now. 24 hours before this event, Boom Boom said that this would be the best match of the night on the pay-per-view. Two former members of the Shield squaring off against each other. You've got the crazy man, Dean Ambrose, versus the Money in the Bank briefcase winner, Seth Rollins, the architect himself. So, guys, looking at this one, I think no matter who wins, I think the WWE Universe wins. These are two great guys, great wrestlers, great feud, great storyline. There's a million different ways they can go with this, and no matter who wins, I think you can make the case for either one of these guys winning, which, as Dave would say, is the sign of a great feud. So, guys, I think we could almost talk all night about this match alone, but Rob, I want you to start us off here. Do you like how they set up this match? Do you like where it's going? And better yet, where do you think it's going to go, starting with your pay-per-view prediction on this match?
I am a huge fan of the Shield, so I'm stoked with this whole match build-up. That said, I don't see this feud ending tonight, and I've said for a while that my dream is they actually fight for the contract at SummerSlam because Rollins is just sick of dealing with him. So I think the only way that happens is Rollins has to win tonight, but I don't think it's going to be a clean finish. I think Rollins is going to get an interference and get help, and that's going to make it so that their match at SummerSlam is a steel cage so that no one can interfere.
Nice, but who do you think's going to walk out with the? Who do you think's going to walk out officially with that W?
It's definitely going to be Rollins.
Going to be Rollins. Okay.
He's going to cheat to win, but he's going to win.
All right. Now, what about you, Dave? I mean, Ambrose looking pretty good. Do you think he may have the edge?
Not so fast, my fellow friend. I'm gonna go with pure number, statistics, nerdy geek. Not going with my heart. Money in the Bank winners, when they win Money in the Bank, go on giant losing streaks because they're guaranteed that push. So I am not going with my heart. I'm not going with storyline logic. I'm going with math, numbers, divide 7 with Kevin Nash. Money in the Bank winners usually lose a lot. So I'm going with Dean Ambrose. I'm just going on the side of the statistics, the numbers. Plus, the storyline still continues, even with Ambrose winning.
Ooh, damn, Dave. Now that you put in that little statistic here, it's going to make it tough for me because I could go either way. But I remembered of an old saying, stats are for chumps. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. Of the two, I think he's the one that WWE wants to push the most. He's the one who'll gain the most, and I think Ambrose will lose the least by losing. I think I agree with Rob. I think Rollins will win by cheating, but Ambrose will walk out with his head high. Just because you lose doesn't mean you're actually a loser. It just means he just got pinned, and he's probably going to be all over Rollins for the rest of the night. But I've got to go with Rollins eking one out with a little bit of trickeration. And now, kids, it's that time. What time is it? Time to stop, collaborate, and listen. Wow, that's a bad reference. Anyway, you got the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It's a fatal four-way match. We have Kane versus Randy Orton versus John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Now, I'm not going to play around with this. I'm not going to try to hype this up. Everybody just rolled their fucking eyes when I mentioned this. In fact, if they're still watching this video at this point, I'm impressed. So, guys, I'm just going to say this. Does anyone not think John Cena is going to win? Can I just put down John Cena for all of us, and then we go into the tiebreakers, and then we make it interesting?
Roman Reigns.
You are going to go with Roman Reigns?
I'm going with Roman Reigns. I'm following my heart. Roman Reigns. I just
pay-per-view profits. Let me just add something before I pick John Cena. I think WWE owes us an awesome show. I think WWE owes Tampa an awesome show, and I think WWE owes Battleground an awesome show. If WWE is not in the business of being awesome, my pick is John Cena.
You know, I got to go with my tag team partner on this one, Dave Kokotas. I've got to go with John Cena on this one, even though I think it would be interesting to see Roman Reigns win the title, then have Seth Rollins chase him, and then have Dean Ambrose chasing Rollins. I just think that would be interesting. But let's go into the tiebreaker questions because we want to make this interesting here. Now, for those of you who are playing here, I want everybody to remember this. Now, here's how this game works. Down here in the comments below, I want you to put in order, preferably, who you think is going to win. That's it. Just put the name of the particular superstar you think is going to win. And then after that is over, particularly in the order that we're going in, preferably, I'd like you to, participate in the tiebreaker questions. Now, a lot of you have had nasty habits of not putting in the tiebreakers, and then people complain when they lose pay-per-view profits. Well, you didn't fill in the tiebreakers. So I strongly urge you to please finish listening to this podcast and please put in the tiebreaker question, because that's pretty much what has done it. Dave won the last pay-per-view by one tiebreaker. We had 4 tiebreaker questions. He won it by 1. He got all 4 correct. The person behind him got 3. So these do matter. So I'm going to say the tiebreaker for this match, for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, is who is the person that will be pinned or submitted to end the match?
Kane.
You got Kane.
It's got to be Kane.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else than Kane. I'm actually going to see who else is in the match. Yeah, I'm going to go Kane too. Because everyone else has got to be strong.
You know what? I'm going to go with Orton. Just because I at least want to try to have a shot at winning this.
Wait, hold on. I got to change mine, actually. I realized I'm not going under the pretense that Cena's going to win. Like, you guys are hedging your bets with that. I'm going under Reigns is going to win. Best way to put Reigns over on a win against Cena is to have Reigns beat Cena.
I just want to live in your... I just want to live in your fucking world for like 10 seconds. The ridiculousness you say sometimes. It just must
be a beautiful place.
I'm going Kane, but in Boom Boom's defense, I can't come up with a defense for what Rob's saying. But in Boom Boom's defense, with him picking Randy Orton, I could see that playing better out in storylines. But I'm picking Kane, and you're picking John Cena to get pinned by Roman Reigns. That's what you're saying.
I dream big.
You do dream big.
Let's be honest. If Cena doesn't lose that title match, I lost pay-per-view profits anyways.
So you might as well ride it big.
I might as well. If he loses, though, I'm winning in the biggest way possible.
Dude, let me tell you, if you are right, first off, me and Booms will be so happy to lose. Second off, how much are we high-fiving at the end of Battleground?
A lot.
So you're betting on high fives.
I'm betting on high fives.
WWE is not in the business of high fives.
All right, my next tiebreaker is going to be in the match between AJ Lee and Paige, since I brought it up. Do you think Paige goes full-blown heel in this pay-per-view, or do they save it for Monday night? So if you think she's going to go full-blown heel in this match, do you think it's going to be at the pay-per-view? You say yes. If you think they're going to do it on Monday Night Raw, just say no. So does Paige go full-blown heel?
Yes.
I said no.
Okay, so Paige goes heel. What are you saying, Dave?
I say no. I think it might happen on Raw, but it won't happen at the pay-per-view.
They do like making big things happen on Raw. The night after.
I'm going to go with Paige turns heel at the pay-per-view. Crazy, I know. Let's see here. Next, at the Intercontinental Championship Battle Royal. Now, obviously, we've said who our picks come down to. You know, David said Sheamus, I said Miz, Rob says Bo Dallas. Who will be that second man? Who will the final two people be? Obviously, I'm going to assume who you pick to win is going to be one of them. Who will be the other guy? Who will be that last person eliminated? So that way, your particular superstar wins the tournament. So, Dave, let's start with you. Who do you think this title will? Who do you think it'll come down to, and ultimately be the last one eliminated?
Well, I have my final four pretty locked down. I think it's Ziggler, Cesaro, Bo Dallas, and Sheamus. I'm rooting for Bo, but my pick is Sheamus.
Well, I know that's who you think's going to win, but who do you think is going to be the person he eliminates?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I got the final four, so I'm looking to see. I mean, you got Bo Dallas if he gets eliminated, but then he won't be as positive. You got Cesaro in a feud. Ziggler, I don't know if they're stupid enough to make Ziggler go out, because I think if Sheamus wins, we're going off my pick. Sheamus wins and he eliminates Ziggler last, I think you have angry nerds fucking throwing shit in the ring. Well, Tampa's pretty lazy, but you got fucking people going disappointed. I'm going to say Cesaro, because then he has to go back to Paul Heyman, or Paul Heyman has to mention it. Because when he was with Paul Heyman, he won the Battle Royal. And now he got eliminated and almost won. And Paul Heyman was the difference. I say Cesaro's number 2, no matter what.
Okay, what about you, Rob?
Sheamus. I live in this pay-per-view is all about dreams for me, and that's the best way to end it. You make the fans think, fuck, Sheamus is going to win this and unify the titles. And then at the last second, Bo Dallas.
I'm going to go with Kofi Kingston will be the last. It'll be the one. This will be the one Battle Royal where his tricks, it really helps him out, and he comes so close, but just comes up just short. He's somebody they've been trying to, he's gotten a few victories over Cesaro. Maybe Cesaro interferes and cost him that last spot, but I think it'll come down to Kofi Kingston and the Miz. I think the Miz will win it. So that's my pick on there, and I think I've got maybe just... Oh, and here's my last one, and this is so blatantly obvious. Does Rollins cash in his Money in the Bank contract?
Ooh, I don't think it's that obvious. I think...
Well, the question is obvious.
No, well, the question's obvious, but I don't think the answer's obvious, because I think right now, especially with the Amazon mistake and everyone knowing the main event, I think there's questions. Does he cash in? Do we give it to Brock? I bet you they're throwing those ideas around, even if they don't use them. I'm going to say no, and they're just going to be like, you know what? It's Tampa. It's Battleground. It sucks. Fuck you. Buy the network. I'm going to say no. But, Rob, for the record, I'm going for what WWE is going to do. But if you are the pay-per-view prophet, Rob, because you're going with your heart, I will be super happy with the final product of Battlegrounds. Dude, does he cash it in?
I think that he cashes it in, but he fails the attempt to cash it in because Ambrose stops him again.
So you're going to say he is cashing it in?
He's trying. He's not succeeding. Like, he goes out there with the intent, just like he did on Raw, but Ambrose stops it and he never gets to cash it in. Failure to launch. Is that an option? Failure to launch.
So, no, technically that would be no, he would not be able to cash it in at that point. Cash it in means the match actually happens.
It's so hard to say that. No match actually happens.
All right, I'm going to go with you guys on that one, no cash. So, there we go, kids. We've got all our picks in and the tiebreakers, so I want you to get your picks in and get them in, and especially get in the tiebreakers. You can do it down here in the comments section. Please have them in. Now, the rules goes as follows. You can put them in at any time, but they have to be in before the pre-show. Once the kickoff match starts, once the match between Cameron and Naomi starts, all bets are off. Your picks are frozen and they are locked in. Now, can you change your picks? Like you get some information here or you find out something late breaking, can you change it? Yes, you can. But again, it has to be changed before the pre-show match starts. So, but like I said, once that pre-match match starts, once that bell rings, all bets are off. So get your picks in, and best of luck to everybody. And then when this match, or not, excuse me, not match, but when this pay-per-view is over, we'll be back here on Kocosports.com, and we will do the pay-per review, and we will either run it down or run it over, whatever it turns out to be, this match here, and that's what we're going to do. So, but guys, any parting thoughts here before we wrap this show up? Rob, anything, any kind of parting thoughts?
I'm really glad no one picked any injured superstars this time. I think that's a big improvement. I think we'll do a lot better this time around. Especially while others warned them that he was injured. But I'm hoping that I'm right and it ends up a great pay-per-view, but I'm expecting that Dave will be right and he'll win again.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. I think WWE owes us a good event. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, fans are fucking greedy. Yeah, okay. Fuck you, wrestling crowd. Fuck you, pro wrestlers that say that shit. Because any other aspect of entertainment, that sounds retarded. Your fans could want you to do good and not be greedy. I think they owe us an awesome pay-per-view. With that said, I think they're going to let us down again. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope Rob is right. We got negative and positive. Booms, you're the middleman. You're calling it straight down the middle.
Calling it just straight down the middle, like Bill Alfonso, right? Let's see here. Oh, by the way, I do need to answer a question here, and this is from Forsaken. He wants to know if this match is going to have any impact on Dolph Ziggler as the Internet Champion. No, it will not. I mean, this is
Luckily
not. We're talking strictly one-on-one here. If Dolph Ziggler doesn't win, doesn't mean he loses the Internet Championship. Something like this, it would be impossible. So, there you go.
You guys are in a rush to have Ziggler lose that title. Calm down. It's going to happen on Monday.
That's what I said. And they were just like, no, fuck you, Boom Boom. We love Ziggler. Ziggler's going to get it. And I'm like, hey.
Hey, Forsaken, thank you for everything you do as far as fantasy wrestling. But, if you could email me the points and stuff, that'd be cool. But let's wait till after the pay-per-view. We'll catch up with all that stuff. I'll talk to you offline. Or, not offline.
All right, you know what? Okay, I'll answer you. Since we got an actual question here, I'll go ahead and I'll throw out this question here. And this is from BGC Fan 17. He says, do you guys think WWE will ever run out of money take two. Do you think WWE will ever run out of business the way they are losing money? Dave, I know this is something you want to jump on, so go for it.
I think if they start losing a lot of money, they'll improve their product a lot and give the fans what they want. Vince McMahon is a very good businessman and promoter, but when he's on top, he's really good at building companies and competing, but when he's on top, he gets fat and lazy. And he's getting fat and lazy, but now it's starting to be interesting. So I don't know if they'll ever go out of business because of their ego, but, because there's a lot of wrestling companies that will keep running even though making profit. I don't think WWE will ever go out of business, but will it become a joke and will it become unprofitable? Is that a word? Let's pretend it is. Yeah, it will. I think eventually, but they have a lot of good stuff. A lot of people are really knocking the network. If they fix 3 or 4 things on the network, they're back in the green. So I think they're sacrificing now for it to be better later. I just hope the in-ring product improves. But will it? I don't know. It really depends when Triple H takes over that 100%. And will Triple H be the man that people praise him to be?
That's kind of where I am. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. It's like everyone says how great it's going to be when Triple H takes over, but do we really know it's all Vince? Because we know when Vince was 100% in charge before it went publicly traded, WWE had a pretty solid product. And since they went publicly traded, that's when the decline started. So how do we know that it's actually still Vince doing it? And people aren't just saying, oh, it's Vince, it'll get better when he's gone. for all we know, nothing's going to change when he's gone. All we can do is hope. And I hope that it gets better when Triple H takes over. But, yeah, I think they're going to keep hemorrhaging money until they make some serious changes with their plan.
Can WWE go out of business? Absolutely. If they keep losing money, now that they're a publicly traded company, they've got a board of trustees. I mean, they've got investors. So I think, just like any company, any corporation, that if they, as Rob said, if they keep hemorrhaging money, yeah, I do picture, people going, hey, wait a damn minute here and stepping in. I can picture that now. Can it still go out of business? Absolutely. Can I just picture, maybe a hostile takeover? I mean, I doubt it, but that's not out of the realm of possibilities. But yeah, I think for it to go out of business, it's going to have to go through a lot of fail safes on this one. But yeah, it could totally happen. All right, guys, let's wrap this show up here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here at Kocosports.com. We'll be back again after Battleground for our paper review, and I certainly hope that Rob can stick around and participate in that, and Dave. So, guys, in the meantime, be sure to check us out at Kocosports.com. That's KOCOsports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. That includes mixed martial arts, boxing, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling. If you can get your nose broke doing it, man, we got you covered. So check it out. We're available, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've even got a very popular news and gossip section. We've got Coco's Corner on our blogs, and we have our very, very, very popular video on demand section. You can check out some old shows there. In case you missed anything, you can get caught right back up, and it's all in one place, and that's at Kocosports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass.
All right. Hey, gentlemen, I'm in a rush, but I want to say thank you for everything. We did 2 long shows today, so please check them out. And we've been doing at least 1 or more shows a week. So thank you for live viewers. Thank you for everyone that's helping us spread the word about it. And thank you, Rob, and thank you, Booms. Sorry to cut it short. I love you both. Hopefully we can be back tomorrow for the pay-per-view. Well, me and Booms definitely. Are you going to be there, Rob?
I should be. I mean, I'm not going to be as angry if John Cena wins this time. So
well, maybe you have to be that voice, because me and Booms are going to be fucking naked and burning shit. So maybe we need an extra voice in there.
Like, I'm not going to be nearly as upset as I was the night that I saw Dean Ambrose get fucked over and then saw Roman Reigns get fucked over. And I'm just like, I'm fucking done. What happened to my Shield?
All right, so we should. Also in the comments, just if you want, tell us if you think that WWE is eventually going to give us a good show. That's it. I mean, do you even have faith that they can do it anymore? All right, go to Kocosports.com, KOCOsports.com, and with that, I am over.